Tinubu is in serious trouble in the early hours today as Rufai Oseni of Arise News have finally come for Bola Ahmed Tinubu and not signed with Bishop David Oyedepo, the general overseer of the Winners Chapel. These men have finally come for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, even for the fact that Nigerians are bleeding right now, even for the fact that the economy of Nigeria is not favoring the common men and all of that. Nigerians are bleeding, but yet Tinubu is doing everything possible to make sure that he solves this country. Nigeria is not for sale. Come and see what is going on. Come and hear what these people said. Come and see what Tinubu is doing. We need to like guys to stay connected to the end of this video. If you can share this video, ensure you share it as you're watching it. Share it, and if you can't share it, just like it as you're watching. Give it a thumb up so that it will be recommended for us. We'll be stay connected. I'm coming back again.
Welcome you back to LAJUPOG TV.
I don't have bad news for you today.
The home of religious gossip.
But you should leave the fight for Mohammed.
What is happening in the Christendom? Join now to make sense with LAJUPOG.
Hello my great and wonderful viewers, welcome back to LAJUPOG TV. For those of you coming across this channel for the very first time, ensure you click the red subscription button appearing on your video screen, and also clicking it, don't forget, click the notification bell icon and knock side, so that whenever we drop a new video in few hours time, YouTube will easily let you to know. A lot is happening in the political zone at the moment. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing a lot of shit as far as Nigeria is concerned. A lot of things are already going on. It's no more the news that people cannot even afford to live in Nigeria again. A lot of people were flying out of the country every day. If you should go to embassy, you will see a large number of Nigerians ready to leave the country just because the economy of Nigeria is not favoring them. The Nigeria is not for the common man. The Nigeria is not for the poor, and even the cost of living in Nigeria have skyrocketed, and people cannot even afford to eat 2 square meal again in their houses. People that are living an average life before, many of them have turned to beggars in the street and all of that. Moving around the street of Nigeria, you see a lot of beggars, and mind you, you will see Nigerian politicians coming out and allocating budgets, millions of naira, billions of naira for themselves, buying cars for themselves, living their luxurious life, borrowing money and still using the money to live their luxurious life in full in the Aso Rock chamber. But Rufai Oseni have finally come out today after Tinubu made a plan. Likewise, Bishop David Oyedepo, the founder of the Winners Chapel, have finally come out and he made a statement. He said Tinubu and his cabinet and all of that, they are all caused because what they are doing to Nigeria right now is a deliberate action, and the more they keep doing it, the more the costs begin to rain on their head and all of that, because Nigeria is not for sale. The man of God have stated it in the early hour of today, and he made this declaration publicly without sugarcoating it. And likewise, Rufai Oseni have finally come out to spit fire on Tinubu. I would like us to stay connected to the end of this video. If you can share this video, ensure you share it. Share it to different social media platforms. Let it go viral. Nigeria is not for sale, and if you can't share it, just like it as you're watching it, so that it will be recommended for us. These people are doing a lot of shit, and I said it earlier on in my previous videos on this channel. I said there is not a time for Nigerians to be losing information regarding everything that is happening in the Aso Rock chamber, because a lot of things are going wrong. It will not be nice for us to wake up in a day and we notice that they have signed some document just to sell Nigeria and all of that, and mind you, everyone will suffer for it. These people will take their bags, they will take their children, they will take everything that they have in Nigeria, they will run out of the country, but the common man will be the one suffering for everything. Now, this is not the time for us to be losing information. This is not the time for us to be sleeping with our 2 eyes closed as far as Nigeria is concerned. A lot of things are going underground, and that is what we are bringing out to you on this channel. It's not only news that Tinubu came out some days ago and he allocated some budget where he said he wants to buy a yacht for himself. They call it presidential yacht and all of that. They try to sugarcoat everything because Nigerians reacted to everything. They said they wanted to buy 5 billion naira yacht, and at the end of the day, when Nigerians were reacting in different media houses, they said the yacht had been ordered before and they have paid for it and all of that. And this Tinubu did not stop there. He still allocate money for the office of the first lady to renovate the office of the first lady. That is not constitutional. He did not stop there. He still allocate cars for the first lady. He said they want to use billions of naira, your money and my money, to buy cars for the first lady in convoy and all of that, and even allocate billions of naira, like 28 billion, to buy cars for the senators in the senatorial house and all of that in the House of Assembly. These people are living their luxurious life in full, but this thing is not painful if it is Nigerian money. But this money are borrowed money. These people will take the name Nigeria to different international community, and this name Nigeria is your name and is my name, because these are moderners. They will take the name of Nigeria to the international community to borrow money, and after borrowing it, they will take the money down to Nigeria here and they will use it to live their luxurious life. They will waste the money. I've never seen a situation where a country is borrowing money and they are not using the money to invest and gain dividends at the end of the day so that they can repay back the money and all of that, unlike how other countries are doing. Nigeria is the first country that I will ever see that once they borrow money, they use it for their luxurious life in the Aso Rock chamber. The money will not even be beneficial to the common man and to all Nigerians. It will only end among the cabinet in the cabals of Aso Rock and all of that. And mind you, all this money are going to be paid by all Nigerians. They are setting up this debt for the future generation that is not even yet born. I doubt it if the future generations will not swear for this our present generation, because things are not working fine. These people have accumulated a lot of debt for Nigerians' future and all of that. And mind you, Nigeria is not going forward. The economy is crashing every day. Tinubu said Buhari left debt in Nigeria and all of that. And he himself has finally come out to say that he wants to borrow more than 7 trillion naira from the international community. Come and see what is going on. What did Tinubu want to use 7 trillion naira to do? And the initial money that Nigeria borrowed before was around 87 trillion. Now, adding 7 trillion naira to it, the debt of Nigeria will rise to 94 trillion naira. Now, they are doing everything. They want to make sure that this country is for sale. But Rufai Oseni have finally played a video for us in the early half today. Rufai Oseni's Scat.Ter table at north side with Bishop Oyedepo of Winners Chapel, the Living Faith Church General have finally said it all. They are caused already. Stay connected to the end of this video and see what is going on. Stay connected. I'm coming back again.
Over the years, my dear, this entitlement mentality from the north is so annoying. This oil that you are talking about, no be Niger Delta get am. Why is it that in everything wey they do, nobody dey even reckon with Niger Delta? They only give them crumbs from the table and they will be scrambling for it. Mention one Niger Delta person who is doing big oil business.
Wey dey give pipeline surveillance
to do security for pipeline. So that one na job, abi? To do security for pipeline, you go dey watch pipeline while the oil go dey pass through to the wherever it's going to, abi? That one na business. That is why I'm laughing at both Asari and Tompolo. Instead of them to talk about their region, look at what is going on. Look at how many billions of dollars we are talking about. And this oil is coming from Niger Delta. Instead of Niger Delta people to come together and ask themselves a question, as a matter of fact, 87% of the oil well in Niger Delta belong to the north. Precious, it belongs to the north. Northerners are the owners of this oil well in the Niger Delta. That was what I told Asari when he was making us about Igbos, as if Igbos are his problem. Look at what is going on. You are taking the resources from my land to go and feather your nest in your own place. And you say we are one Nigeria. And unless Nigeria is restructured, anybody that goes to Aso Rock is just like a caretaker. The main landlord is in the north, who will decide what you will do and what you will not do. We can see it playing out even under Tinubu. There are things Tinubu cannot do. I'm telling you, there are people he cannot even talk to. He can't even mention their name. Say he want to probe corrupt. He cannot try it. It's like a signed document. That's what I'm looking at here. It's like you're signed that you will not do this, you will not do this. That's okay. Go and stay in Aso Rock. That is what it looks like. If not, if Tinubu actually mean to clean up Nigeria, he would have started from NNPC. He would have started from there. But look at it. Even under his word, look at what is going on. They don't use Emefiele as a sacrificial lamb because he's from the Niger Delta minority. Who is his godfather? He has nobody. That's why you look as if Mefele is the nobody is even talking of his principal who was telling him what to do. Nobody. These other places now where corruption is staring us in the face, Tinubu will not talk about it. He will pretend as if he did not see it. Even this aviation, since they wrote to Kiyamo, has he uttered a word? He won't utter a word. It's just a phone call. Don't listen to that letter they wrote you. Don't probe anybody, and that's it. But you will come out and be shouting as if he's the Mr. Saint. My dear, we are in a deeper mess. That is how to describe what is going on. We are in a deeper mess. All this stuff that you are going to reverse the economy, you are just to lip service. Nobody is serious about. As long as this APC is concerned, they are not ready to do anything because they are 10 and 10 pence. They are 5 and 6. No difference between Buhari and the Tinubu. Tinubu cannot prove all that Buhari did in office. So it means that we are not going anywhere. We are not. That is why all the people that Buhari put in place, they are still acting as if Buhari is in charge. They are not even bothered because they know that Tinubu will not call them to question. They know. In fact, with the baggages Tinubu is carrying, does he have the temerity to call anybody for probe? He won't try it. That is why I've been telling people that we are not there yet. All this man that let's give him a chance. Which chance? You have seen the handwriting on the wall. You are still waiting. Which chance? It's unfortunate. They wrote a letter to the in fact that day heads would have started rolling in that organization. Why do you think that Nigerian Airways cannot fly? Is that not this type of thing? 8 billion naira. These are not outsiders. These are people that are working with the DG himself. They are in the same office, so they know everything. They are the ones approving the voucher, so they know what they are talking about. It's not as if it's a PD person who wrote the petition or Labour Party person. These are insiders. Yet it has been swept under the carpet. Not even a word. Not even a word. Festus of Kiyamo left what is happening in his ministry, and he's discussing issues that don't concern him, talking about speaking from both sides of his mouth. The same man he was prosecuting years ago for certificate forgery is now supporting him, claiming that what has gone better between that time and now? Is it not the same certificate? That will tell you that we don't have men of principle. We don't. Precious, this thing is deeper than you're seeing it. It's deeper. But let me tell you, people have been talking of Rwanda. Every time they say Rwanda, one journalist, one broadcaster was talking about mosquito and cockroach. One core problem in Rwanda was not about any propaganda or hate speech. It was not. It was because of this type of thing. The Belgian masters took the Tutsis as their own. They empowered them. They placed them in places of authority in Rwanda. Because the Belgians believe that the Tutsis resemble them in their color, they have the same color. So they empower them. Meanwhile, the Hutus who said that, but we are the same country now. These are why are you putting them above? You are giving them everything. What is our own? That was what caused the problem in Rwanda. When they could no longer tolerate it, they don't have anything. They can't get jobs. They can't get contract. They got annoyed and said, okay, let us destroy everything. That was what happened in Rwanda. That was why the Hutus went angry and started they will not go and study what and let me tell you, anywhere where there is injustice, where there is nepotism, where there is discrimination, go and check what happens to such a country. Go and check. It's a question of time before people start reading meaning into all these things and say, okay, so we are now slaves in our own country. They will not look at all this. People have been writing, people have been talking. Nobody will pay attention. Nobody. Until when it will become a problem, they will now look for one scapegoat. It was this journalist who was writing. It was this journal presenter who said something on radio. Meanwhile, the real issue that is going on now, that is happening, nobody will talk about it. How can you be in a country where you cannot get any good job, even though you are more than qualified? Then they will take somebody who is not even qualified and put as your head. How come? Will you feel happy in that country? Will you be patriotic in that country? It's not even as if the people that are placing this authority, they are qualified. It's not as if they know anything. It's just to see that they be chopping money. Is that not why Nigeria is where it is today? All the people that Buhari put in office, if they are really experts in their field, Nigeria will not be like this now.
7 trillion. Total of 7 trillion, 7.097 trillion. That's what the Senate President read out amounts to. By the time you add that to the existing debt stock of Nigeria, which is over 83 trillion, you are looking at about 94 trillion naira. That would be the debt stock of Nigeria. So the question is, yes, some economists have come onto this program to say it's not a sin to borrow, countries borrow. What matters is what you do with the borrowing. What do we do with the borrowing? We thought the Tinubu administration is saying that, in fact, the loans being requested for now had even been approved by FEC in May, early May, by the Buhari administration. And these loans are being sought for financing several projects in health, agriculture, infrastructure, education, and other sectors of the economy. Okay, so the question is, all the loans that we have been taking before in Nigeria, Nigerians are concerned that the loans, you know, what you see is the debt stock rising. You don't see the effect in terms of development outcomes. We have borrowed up to, we are going to borrow up to 94 trillion, and yet we're told that the roads are not, they have not been fixed. Debt of 6 trillion with federal roads alone. Schools are not in a good shape. Lecturers are not getting what they want in terms of their standing agreement with the federal government of Nigeria. So what do they do with these monies that they borrow? That is the question. Because when the debt stock continues to increase, the Nigerian people are already overburdened. It will add more to the burden of the people. The economy is not productive. There's no real productivity in the economy. How do we make this economy productive? What are we borrowing money for? The other problem also is that if you look at the supplementary budget, in that supplementary budget where the government was asking for about 2.7 trillion additional funding, the controversy was about government wanted to buy a yacht. We don't know the status of that yacht now, although we're told that it had been ordered, it had been delivered. 28 billion was going to be spent to buy luxury cars in the villa and renovate, places within the state house. And Nigeria said no. At a time that Nigeria is facing serious austerity, government officials must also be seen to be tightening their belts. It's not just the people that will make sacrifice. So these loans, we imagine, of course, that the Senate will approve, given the character of the Senate, as some people have also argued on this platform. But what are they going to do with it in specific terms? Government needs to worry more about productivity. Government needs to worry more about making this economy more productive. Government needs to worry about tightening its own belts and generating more revenue. Not necessarily through taxation, but I guess more through productivity, through investments, attracting investments, which the president has always been talking about. So you can't borrow all these monies and then they will go on luxury items, and the cost of governance will rise further. The cost of governance also has to come down. So I think that is the bottom line. And I hope that the Senate will not just rubber stamp the request.
87 plus 26. 87 trillion, the debt we have on ground, plus 26, the debt that is proposed that will borrow in the mid-term expenditure framework. 26 trillion plus 87 trillion. That'll give you about 113 trillion. That's where we're still going with the borrowing. Let me also shock you. In the last 21 years, our debt profile increased by over 600%. I'll read a very exciting thing to you this morning. It might shock you. There is a news article from 31st of July 2021 in the cable It says, from Obasanjo to Buhari, our federal government's debt profile surged 685% to 26.9 trillion in 21 years. I'm sure if you remember, at some point we had our debt forgiven, largely by the Paris Club. When President Jonathan was leaving power, the debt stock was about 12 billion in dollar terms. Today it surged to over 50 billion in dollar terms. That's the kind of country we've built. But in all of this, ask, what did President Buhari do with all the money he borrowed? I'm sure they'll probably show you a rail line. Ibadan to Lagos rail line with all of its challenges, and the train stopping in the middle of the road because of no diesel. Kaduna rail line that we couldn't put in security infrastructure and people were kidnapped and a doctor died and many other people died. I'm sure they'll show you rail lines. What else? They'll say roads, Lagos Ibadan Expressway. Yeah. What else? They'll show you other infrastructure projects. How does this affect the people? What have we done with all the money we've borrowed? We've squandered riches. We've printed more money, we've borrowed, we've increased the debt stock at the detriment of Nigerian people. And that's why we're asking more questions from President Tinubu. What are you going to do with this money you want to borrow now? Yeah, you might claim it's been approved before. What are you going to do with it? Because the supplementary budget the other time was to buy luxury cars and a couple of other things. Don't we feel sad that a position like the wife of the president, we're buying luxury cars for her, is not stated in the constitution? Why do you need to do it? The president's wife said, oh, we are not coming here because we need your money. We're already rich before we came in here in the first place. They could have afforded their cars. Then we talked about the yachts. Then we all saw what happened. Now we're passing another loan. Is it after the state governors are spending billions of naira on frivolous activities and incurring more debt to the future generation yet unborn? Please humor me. If all these loans we take, if we can see the direct knock-on investment on Nigerians, I will be the first one to say borrow more. We're seeing what you're doing with the money. But we're spending it on frivolities. And we forget we have to pay back this money someday. And because of the law, we're having a knock-on effect on inflation. Most of the money we printed in ways and means. But remember the inflationary pressures all of that brought, we've not settled all of that. So now, even if we call for debt forgiveness, no nation will take us seriously. Because when they forgave us our Paris Club debt, before you know it, we borrowed all over again. And we are squandering our riches. We're not making enough revenue. We're incurring more debt. The budget, 27 trillion. The revenue projection, and it doesn't mean you are hitting that revenue. It doesn't mean you have, it's just a projection. You can fall far low. Project performance is about the 50-60% percentile. But what are we doing with the money? Nothing. We just squander it. And what we hear down the line are cases of corruption. Please, the National Assembly should save Nigeria. I know they say the National Assembly is rubber stamp. Scratch that. The National Assembly is copy and paste of the executive. It's obvious that anything the executive says, they just copy and they paste it. But at least, if it is the will of the Nigerian people that put you there, investigate and ask questions. But how will you ask questions in the National Assembly? You remember they approved the 160 million for your SUVs, isn't it? How would you ask questions? Because you're also in there as complicit while the people bleed. Have a conscience.
Anyone that wants somebody is dead for him to have his ambition will pay for it with his life. The Lord spoke to me after the 3 days of prayer and fasting for the nation. Nahum chapter 1 and verse 9. What do ye imagine against the Lord? He shall make an utter end. Affliction shall not rise up the second time. Affliction shall not rise up a second time. Every imagination to perpetuate the affliction is cursed today. For every sane Nigerian that has any brain remaining, knows that this nation has been under affliction for the past 8 years. The worst in the history of a nation. Aleppo Tekando. So any agenda to perpetuate that comes under a curse today. You go to farm in your own ancestral land, you are not sure of returning. You go to work, you are not sure of getting back home. All kinds of evil. Human life no meaning. Arebo Ketenga, Emblakaradosa, Yeke. I saw a nation under distress. I saw only God as one who can make it, who can give it back life, who can give back life, give life back to it. Enobratis Tonarota. Let's stop pretending. There are many Christians who are just blinded than blindness. Let's stop pretending. Let's stop pretending. Anyone eating from this thing at the detriment of the nation will share with the evil. Don't share the consequences. Alepro this Kenaro and Banglankrak Tonobo.
And for the peace and stability of Nigeria. Nigeria is not for sale. Nigeria is not for sale. We are not an entity, we are a people. We are a people, we are not for sale. You don't have to be a billionaire to be a president. No, you need capacity, you need character. And we have them in every part of the country. Every part. Why do you go with your second 11 when you have the first 11 in place? You have lost the match. You have lost the match. Otherwise, there may not be a country again. There may not be a country again. Can this suffering continue like this? Till the last minute? Last minute? Praise God. Can I tell you something? Nobody has ever put words in my mouth till date in my walk with God. I don't have media aids. My media has come to church. You hear what the Holy Ghost is saying for the hour.
Thank you for staying connected, my great and wonderful viewers. You can hear what is going on. You can hear what that first man said in this very video, and you can hear what Rufai Oseni said alongside with what Bishop Oyedepo said, because I played 3 videos for you on this same video. You know, that first man spoke regarding the fact that there are some cabals in the northern part of Nigeria that are controlling the affairs of Nigeria. They are the one in the presidency. They are the one controlling the affair of everything, the hardship that is going on in Nigeria. They are the orchestrator of everything. There's no money that Nigeria borrowed that they won't have benefit from. According to what this man said, he said Tinubu is just doing a caretaker work in the Aso Rock. Likewise, Buhari, in the time of Buhari was just there doing some caretaker work or some level of caretaker work. So these people are the one controlling the affairs of Nigeria. We call them the cabals. Those are the cabals that we're talking about. It is until these cabals are eradicated, this unknown cabal need to be pulled out of place before Nigeria can be better. So that is what is happening. Have you ever asked yourself questions that whenever the president is not on seat and the vice president took over, let me cite an instance for you. Whenever the president is not on seat and the vice president took over, the vice president will always perform and Nigerians will enjoy the work of the vice president. But when the president is back or when the president is in place, nothing will work well. Things will be going zigzag and everything will be going down. The economy will not be working well. But once the vice president is in office, things will be working well. An example is the time of Goodluck Jonathan when Yar'Adua died. Though Yar'Adua performed so well as far as Nigeria is concerned, but when Yar'Adua died, when the man died, Goodluck took over and he took over the regime and all of that, and Goodluck performed excellently well. That is the reason why a lot of people voted for him in the second distance. That is why Goodluck became the president of Nigeria on his own personal tenure. And likewise, when Buhari went for treatment some years ago in the tenure of Buhari, you know, when Osinbajo took over the affair of the country and Osinbajo begin to operate as the acting president and all of that. This guy performed excellently well. This guy did everything well, and people were even praying that Buhari should not come back, that this man should be the one taking care of the affair of the country. But the moment Buhari came back and stepped in again, things scattered again. So what is there? What is there? You should know that something is fishing. What is there that is no no? Whenever the vice president take over, things will work well. The right thing will be done, and Nigerians will be enjoying. But whenever the president is back, just like the cabals are only controlling the affairs of the presidency, according to what this man said, they said there will be an agreement between some northern cabals and the president in office in the Aso Rock, that the office of the president is just a caretaker work and all of that. So that is what is happening. Tinubu allocated some budget some days ago where he said he wants to buy car for the office of the first lady that is not to the constitution, where he said he wants to buy presidential yacht. We do not know what president want to use yachts to do and all of that. And we said he wants to buy cars for the senators, and the senators even have the infantry, the audacity to come out and tell Nigerians that the reason why they want to buy billions of naira, 20 billion cars for themselves is just because they said Nigerian road is not good, that Nigerian road is very bad. And I keep saying it, whose responsibility is it to fix the roads in the Federal Republic of Nigeria? The roads are bad. Is it not the work of the politicians to fix the road, or the politicians to have the mind, the infantry, the audacity to come out and tell Nigeria in a public television station that the roads are bad? That is why they want to use your money and my money to buy big cars for themselves, so that they can be using it to be cruising in the road of Nigeria very well. That shows that these people are not having Nigerians in mind. These people are not having it in mind to fix the road. That is why they want to make an alternative by buying cars for themselves to be riding it up and down conveniently in the road of Nigeria. So that is what is going on. And I keep saying it, I believe that these people are not borrowing money from international communities to be doing all these things. It wouldn't have paid us. These people are spending billions of naira for themselves, and this money are borrowed money. They borrow it from international community. Now, after Tinubu released the budget of buying cars and all of that, he finally came out again. He released a budget for the House of Assembly. Tinubu said he wants to borrow 7 trillion naira plus as far as Nigeria is concerned. He said he wants to use the money for his 2024 budget. Now, tell me, what did Tinubu wants to do in 2024? We are not saying that Tinubu should not borrow money, but Nigeria is already having a debt of 87 trillion naira on ground. This debt is there, and Buhari borrowed a lot of money in his regime, and this money is not being replaced. They didn't refund it. Now, these people will borrow this money, and at the end of the day, they will spend it lavishly. They will use it to do their luxurious lifestyle thing and all of that, and the masses will keep suffering. With the trillions of naira that Nigeria are borrowing, the government is borrowing it every time. We are not enjoying anything in this country. The roads are bad, the education sector is bad, the hospital is bad, nothing is working in the country. It's only for the politicians to be enjoying their life. That's the only thing. Now, this 7 trillion naira plus that Tinubu want to borrow, once this money is approved and is borrowed, Nigeria debt will rise to 94 trillion naira plus. So where is this money going to be paid? They are just accumulating this debt. They are borrowing it for the future generation. I say it and I will keep saying it. The future generation will swear for this our present generation, because we have gathered a lot of problems for the future generation, and it is not we. It is these people, these demons that we put in the Aso Rock chambers that are eating up this country like pagan wolves. Those are the ones that are spoiling things for us as far as this country is concerned. So Oyedepo have finally said it. He said these people are cursed since they cannot do the right thing, since they can't come out and do the right thing, even when they know how to do the right thing, even when they know the right thing to be done. They are cursed already. For them to borrow money and be using it for their luxurious lifestyle and all of that, and at the end of the day, take note, it is all of us that will pay the money once the people that they borrowed it from come for Nigeria. All of us will pay for it, and these politicians in question, they will run away, they will run out of the country, and many of them would have died then. So we that will still be alive will be the one to pay for it. It is until we stop these people of this their evil doings that they are doing, that is when things will work out in Nigeria. Enough of all this money that they are gathering for the future generation to come and pay. The generation that have not been born, they will be the one to suffer for all this debt and all of that. And the people that had spent the money lavishly, many of them would have died then. So that is what is going on. That is what is happening. Nigeria is going nowhere. If they are borrowing the money and they are using it to invest as other countries used to do, I don't mean that they are using it to be investing on their economy and they are seeing gains and dividends, then we will say that they should be borrowing more. That is what Rufai said. We even be encouraging the government to be borrowing more of the money so that we will keep adding into our economy and we'll be using it to be investing on ourselves in this country, and we'll be seeing gains and dividends, and we'll be refunding the money that is borrowed, we'll be refunding it back and all of that. But now Nigeria is not even using it to be investing. It's just like you borrow money to do business, and at the end of the day you eat up the money. You use the money to go to club to do dorime, and at the end of the day you didn't see the money to refund, and you still go back to the person again to borrow another one. When the person will come for you, the person will come for your head, and you become a slave to the person. Enough of all this shit. We will not be enslaved in Nigeria. That is what Oyedepo said. We will not go into slavery. These people will not sell Nigeria on our head. So that is what is going on. Drop your opinion in the comment section of this video, as I'm going out there to get another 20 for you. Ensure you follow me on all my social media handles on Facebook at LAJUPOG TV and LAJUPOG Entertainment, and on Instagram at LAJUPOG. Guess what, guys? See you in my next video. Bye.
Religious gossip plenty day for body. Pastor with the line on top, be pastor for LAJUPOG Watch TV. Pastor with the back, where politician with the do pass himself. Corrupt leader, all the while you waiting for church. All as LAJUPOG Watch TV.